I'm going to do a video on extreme basics for vaping. Okay, so I'm new to vaping and there's a lot of common stuff that I didn't know, and I'm going to explain it here. If you don't know the common, just the basic stuff about vaping, that's what this video is about. I'm no means like an expert or an authority, but when I first started out, there was some basic stuff that I didn't understand that if you're new to vaping, you might find useful. All right, so here we go. Okay, this is your whole get up, okay? This piece, this is your tank. Tank is where you put your juice. This is a top fill-in tank. It means that I flip this top back and I drip my juice down into that little hole, the little crescent shaped hole. So it's a top filler, some of them are bottom fillers. The bottom fillers, you unscrew them from the mod. This is your mod, this is your tank. By the way, throw a tip in here. My juice level is way down in the bottom. This atomizer, that silver piece in the middle, is an atomizer. It's actually a quad coil atomizer that goes into this TFV4 tank. And there's all kinds of tanks, there's all kinds of mods. Here's another mod, another tank, another mod, another tank. Okay, so you're not supposed to let your juice get below. On this one, you don't want to go halfway, so this second notch right there, the little slot that the juice gets into, you don't want the juice to go below that because you'll burn the cotton that's in there. And on one like this, you don't want your juice to get more than about a quarter way through this bottom. This is where the juice goes in down here. So I'm pretty good. I can get that juice level down to about there. This one is also all the way down. It's all the way to the bottom. This coil is bad, and this coil is also bad. That's why I'm vaping the juice all the way down, because I'm going to change the coils out today. That's what you do. If you're in the middle of being busy or you're out drinking or whatever, and you let these get this low, you're going to burn that coil. It's going to burn it and lose its life early. Premature death for coils. So that's the basics of what they are. I've got these little protectors on. I like to use smoke products a lot, so I use these little bands so that whenever your glass hits the ground, it won't shatter. This kind of protects it from that. I'll show you the disassembled pieces too and tell you what they all are. But this is your tip, this is your tank, here's your glass, inside the glass is your atomizer, that's the base. These holes are air control valves. When they're open, I like them to be open on the bottom. It's just preference, but I like it because I'll get a better draw through the bottom. And then if I have those tips at the top, like this one does not. Can't control any on the top, so it's always closed. But I like them closed anyways, so I close them up. See, you can actually spin that. I can't do it with one hand, but you can spin this and make that little piece, that silver piece, means that this is shut. You can spin it so that you can see through it and it's open like that. I like the bottoms open, the tops shut. Seem to get the best mixture. Okay, most mods, this is Sigeli V2, most mods, and that's a Crown, UL Crown tank. Most mods takes 5 hits of the fire button to turn it on. This mod's off. I'm gonna do that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, it's powering on. Most of them are like that. 5 to turn it on, 5 to turn it off. With this one, this is the Smoke Cube 2. 5 hits puts it in lock mode, and 5 hits puts it in unlock mode, so that you don't squeeze this and vaporize while you're not intending to do that. Okay. The basics of vaping is this. When you hit the fire button, it's igniting your coil. Your coil is vaporizing your fluid. What you want to do is a synchronous pull of the air while you're holding the button down. You do those simultaneously. I see a lot of people do it too early, too late. If you do it too early, you're vaporizing the juice and it's not going anywhere. That's bad. If you do it too late, you're sucking on the juice, which is pulling a vacuum down into this, and you're actually pulling more juice than you're having atomized, and you want that to be a simultaneous thing. So you want to kind of hold this down the same time you hit, like this. Watch my finger. Watch when I start to draw. This is a weak mod. It's like on 50 watts, but I do that whenever this crown gets a little bit low, the atomizer gets kind of low. It's another good point. When your atomizers are fresh and brand new, you can hit them close to the optimum wattage. Optimum wattage on this is around 100. But whenever they start to get weak, if you want to make it last longer, if you want the longevity of the atomizer to be longer than a week or so, you want to lower your wattage. You can still get vapor out of them. The flavor's not as good. You start to sacrifice flavor for that, but you can still make it last before it starts to taste burnt. So again, simultaneous button fire and draw with your breath. Same time. Atomizers are not cheap. You might get them from your local store. I get mine online. I have TF V4 quad coils, always standing by waiting. I have crown coils. I only have 3 tanks. Crown coils and 8 T8 V8 T8s for my Beast 8 coil. So I always have those waiting. I always have batteries on standby. You're going to go through batteries. If you start to vape, seriously, you're going to go through batteries. I really like eFest and eFest batteries. This is one of my sons. This is one that came in my beginning mod. But I have the 6 charger waiting. It's always waiting, so you don't ever want to be without your juice. I always have tons of juice on handy. I order these from my favorite place, exr.com. Good deals. Another local provider. This is from Vape Connection in South Dakota. This is from The Cloud in South Dakota. So I'm always sitting around with enough material so that I don't run out. Because if you get addicted to nicotine, man, you can't be without. Have those things on standby. Alright, I told you I'd show you what this looks like whenever it's all apart. So here is kind of the order of the way it's broken down. Shit. Not really, but I'm getting there. Alright. So, you've got your drip tip. That's what they call these. It's not really a drip tip because it's not a dripper type of tank, but I don't know why they call it a drip tip. Maybe because it has that 2-layer, and it also has the air control valve inside of this tip. That's the mouthpiece. This is what the mouthpiece goes into. It's the top of your tank. That's the top fill mechanism right there. The rubber gasket here keeps that from flipping open all the time. It's just a little gasket that helps you seal in everything and keeps it tight so that whenever it's closed, it doesn't just fall open like that. There's that little rubber kind of protector that goes around the tank. I usually end up putting it around this piece right here toward the top. About right there is where I end up putting mine. This is your glass tank, the cylinder. It's just glass. By the way, there's no screws, there's no threads in these things at the tip. I see people try to screw these in to the top and into the bottom. They don't screw. They just slip into place. There's grooves in the bottom of these. If you look at this groove right here, there's a groove with a gasket, that black lining inside here. That's what makes the seal. Same thing in the bottom. Here's the bottom piece. There's not a black seal, but there's a clear rubber seal that's there. You can barely make it. It's white. It outlines that whole tip, and that's what keeps your juice in. This is the bottom of your tank. There's that air, so you can see through it now. You can see through to the other side because there's no atomizer sticking through it. Normally you'd see, from the atomizer, you'd see this piece right here because it's in there. You screw this in that way. This is your atomizer, and this is a Smoke TF V4 Q4 is what's called, TF Q4. It's the quad coil atomizer. It's kind of burnt out too. I know it's still a little bit white, but it's pretty burnt. I'm going to stick a new one in. That's why I disassembled it. So there's your pieces. That's what their names are. The tip, the top fill, the tank, the atomizer or coil. This is also the coil atomizer. And the bottom with your pin. This is the pin that goes into your mod. My mod's here. This is also a good time to mention that anytime I change my tank, you see that juice residual there? I'm going to take a solution of basically alcohol and distilled water. I'm going to wipe that down. I use it for electronic parts at my work, and I'm going to stick a Q-tip in there and clean those threads and that little gold tip. Should always do that every time you change one of these and clean it. Another good tip worth mentioning, before you put juice in this, you want to make sure that your coil, you see how my coil is showing 0.16 ohms? You want to make sure that your coil is discovered by your mod, because if you put that coil in there wrong or you didn't screw it on right, it's going to be a 0 down there and it's going to say no coil. And you want to not, definitely want to not fill it up with juice if you got a coil problem, because that means you may have to remove your coil out of it, re-screw it in, you may have done it wrong, etc. So make sure that it registers and gives it a ohm reading like that before you put your juice. Also, a special note on filling with juice, you want to prime it. So I've put my juice in here, I've got all my juice, I'm checking for leaks. You got to make sure that the juice wicks into your coil for about 5 minutes. The juice is in there right now. You see the level right there? Juice is in there, it's wicking into the cotton. You want to go through the top and drop a drop or two straight down the middle too, straight down in there. That way your whole cotton from top to bottom is getting saturated with juice and you won't burn any of it whenever you fire it up for the first time. I'm not going to fire this up for 5 minutes. So prime it with juice, 5-minute wait, put some through the top. You can take some small puffs through the tip without firing the button. Don't push the fire button at all, just really small, really weak puffs. That'll also draw juice into, wick it into the cotton as well, so that you can get it, help it get primed. Okay, so now that it's all back together, there's no juice leaking out of the bottom. It's been over 5 minutes. I did the small puff like this. See, no fire, no fire. Small puff. Now it's ready to hit. Remember what I taught you about hitting the same time you pull? I'm going to hit it right now. Oh, I got to adjust my watts. I don't know if you can see this. I can't see this side of it. But I'm going to put it up to, this is it's on normal setting, and I'm going to put it at about 100 watts. There we go. Yeah, because this handles 100 watts really easily. So I usually leave it on 80, but it's on normal. This thing has settings where you can go normal, soft, easy, normal, hard, max. Keep it on normal. It just runs your atomizer down a little harder if you go in higher ranges. Anyways, none of that's basics. I'm just showing you basic stuff. Here we go. It's the first hit. It's clean. It doesn't taste burnt. Feeling the buzz already. Alright guys, I hope this tutorial was helpful for you for the basics. Always put your battery in. Another basic thing is a common mistake people make. Put your battery in with your positive and negative posts in the right direction. If it doesn't turn on or won't fire or do anything, you might have put those in upside down. It happens. Just live and learn, man. I had to learn these things the hard way. I hope this basic tutorial helped you. If it did, like, share, subscribe, do all the cool stuff. Blow hard.